Hi guys. Hello. Let's talk purpose. So I experienced questions around purpose lately, which has a lot to do with a lot of inner work. I think a lot of us have been doing recently over the last few years, maybe even a decade or so. And along that healing journey, we probably arrive at some point where we feel like we've done enough work to we've done a lot of internal and inner work that it makes us feel like we're at a point where we can start doing physical work or more physical work, and we might experience having more energy, right? So trauma means stress for a lot of people. For most people, it always means stress, because when we are traumatized, we feel like there's something between us and seeing things for how they are, or something is blocking us from achieving goals or being happy or being joyful or being in healthy relationships, whatever, right? Trauma is often it's kind of dark, isn't it? Trauma is often leading to stress, because something blocks us from feeling lighter, right? Trauma means eventually feeling responsible for others, feeling like we have to work out everything, feeling like we're responsible for harmony in our families or in our workplaces. We feel like we can set boundaries. That's why we're taking everything on. We feel like we are responsible for people being happy. We are feeling like we're not worthy of love. That's why we have to work really hard. So when we start healing, we pretty much rewire our brain for new ways to think, and that's why we start to experiencing new things. And we also probably were sitting with our emotions and our feelings, and we were allowing the grief and allowing frustration and allowing the anger and allowing sadness, and that's why we processed a lot, and that's why we healed a lot. So when we healed a lot, there comes a time when we feel like it's probably time for something new, because chances are we've outgrown our current relationships or our work environment or people in our lives, or just we are just ready for something new, for new landscapes and for new environment, for new experiences. And I came across purpose today and yesterday, purpose in the outer world, right? I think Eckhart Tolle is talking about that. There's a purpose, an inner purpose, which usually has to do with the present moment, being here and receiving, or like being present. And there's an outer purpose, and a lot of people are wrapped up or very focused on the outer purpose. Otherwise, if their outer purpose is not that strong, or they don't feel like they have an outer purpose, they feel like they don't have any purpose at all, which is not true. Like, you can have a really strong purpose in terms of being a nurse or being a mother or being a teacher or being a doctor. That has a lot of like a strong purpose for people, right? But you can also have a purpose when you are healing, when you're going to therapy, when you are working internally on a lot of things that are important for yourself, but also for the rest of humanity, pretty much. Because who knows what the healed version of you will be doing, right? And so purpose came up, and purpose in the physical came up for me. And there is, because like when you've healed a lot, you also have more energy and you feel like you want to use it for an outer purpose. So, but purpose is something, I think a lot of, I remember the times when I would Google my purpose, when I would seek outside for purpose and nothing really quite felt like it was a match. But when this time comes where you feel like you've done so much inner work, and it doesn't mean there won't be ever inner work to do again, there's always inner work, but if you feel like you reached like a plateau or something where you can see more clearly and you say, okay, this is me, this is what I'm interested in, I looked at my demons, I worked a lot with them, there's still some stuff. We have more energy because we've just done a lot of work, and internally we are much lighter because healing means liberation. Liberation means choice. So purpose is sometimes found through coincidence. Sometimes people experience purpose being falling into their lap by something they're experiencing outside of them or internally, and they are like, oh my god, that's my purpose, right? Sometimes it's you are becoming a mom or dad, and surprisingly, or you didn't plan for it, but this can still be your purpose for now. So sometimes purpose is falling into our laps, right? And sometimes purpose needs to be chosen, and sometimes purpose needs to be created, and sometimes purpose needs to be seeked and looked for. But purpose is always either found, created, or experienced in the present moment. So purpose can today mean I will go for a walk and I will be as present as possible with nature and with my breath. That can be a purpose for today. My purpose for today or for now is to sit here and film a video, right? And talk and express what feels true to me or aligned or whatever. And a lot of times purpose is being chosen by us, and sometimes when everything outside of us feels like it's not, sometimes it doesn't feel big enough or aligned enough, I think it has to do with choosing purpose and choosing what feels purposeful. Because I experienced lots of boredom lately, which has a little bit to do with the restrictive situation or restricted situation, and the same environment I have been in for a long time. So I started to plan the week ahead, to have something to look forward to say, because there are two parts of me, right? There's this part that is like very conscious and mindful and present, and I'm just letting the day come and see what's coming up for me and how I feel like, what I feel like doing. And there's this part of me that becomes or started to be very physically oriented, because there's just a lot of energy due to the healing journey I'm on, a lot of physical energy. And I think that is what a lot of us experience, that we have more energy and to focus that on something is also purposeful, right? So if I say like I have a lot of physical energy and I need to channel it somehow, and the best thing for me is to go for a run, and maybe I've been always running the same kind of route, and to have some diversity, I'm going to run a different route, or just run quicker or faster, or run longer, right? Or like on Thursday I'm going to meet a friend and we go somewhere and stuff. That was just my experience, which is helpful for me to either to look forward to things, but also to it gives me stability currently to have like to do things. And it's not our purpose to always be busy and to, but like I said, like if I don't use this energy, I'm not continuing being aligned, because this energy physically and on this human journey, there's this energetic, internal, spiritual, unseen realm we are working with. And if we work with that a lot, it's still a fact that we are humans and there's a physical reality to our human journey, which wants to be created and which wants to be explored. That's why we eat, and that's why there's pleasure and joy, and that's why we find pleasure in eating and pleasure in sex or love or traveling and seeing different places, and why we find right, there's still the physical aspect. And when we worked a lot, there's a balance, right? So people there are these stories of people who've been working all their life, and then they are like, you know what, I've been a workaholic, and now I'm going to settle down in nature and just rescue kittens or dogs, or just have my garden, because there's a balance to be found in the physical experience on the human journey, which is also part of purpose, to know what is next, or to understand when to end things and to start things again, and to let ourselves evolve and change and transform, and let us be on that journey of change quite often, and to understand, wow, this served a purpose. It was perfectly fine for my growth, but I'm ready to move on, and I'm ready to see new landscapes, right? So that's also part of our purpose. And to understand when something is just ending and something wants to be started and something new is coming up, and to let ourselves do that and change. And yeah. And purpose is sometimes when it's difficult when we feel like there's nothing falling into my lap, like for some people, or I'm seeking, maybe you have to create your purpose, and maybe it's changing. Like for some time you will be a mom, for some time you will be a cook, for some time or chef, for some time you will be unemployed and explore new possibilities. For some time you will travel, for sometimes you will have a dog and the dog needs a lot of attention, whatever. I think a lot of us have done a lot of inner work, and there might be a time when we feel like, okay, who am I without that trauma? Who am I without being a people pleaser? Who am I when I'm not constantly trying to harmonize my relationships? Who am I when I stop caring about people's opinion after being so in need of people's approval. Who am I when I don't need people's validation anymore? Who am I when I don't feel like there's anything outside of me to master anymore in that environment, only in that environment, because there's always mastery to or things to master outside of us. But who am I when I really stopped caring about people rejecting me? Or who am I when I stopped being a people pleaser, and when I, what's next? Like, there must be something next, either internally or on a physical level. And either we have to seek and explore and something new is showing up, or we have to create that new purpose, or create, seek, or choose a new purpose, right? And whatever it is for you, it's divine and completely fine how your purpose is going to look like. And sometimes even like choosing purpose would mean like, wow, I care about the environment. I saw there's lots of plastic and trash and in my environment or in the nature around me or in the parks. I'm going to collect trash for 1 hour every day or once a week. And it will probably feel really purposeful because it makes a lot of sense, right? Just an example how we choose purpose and how we can choose purpose for our lives. If we felt empty or feel like there's nothing coming up for us, sometimes it's us also choosing or creating that purpose. I hope that was helpful. Much love and happy Sunday.